Welcome back to the channel. I'm working on my S13 again. Today I'm going to fix the window switch. Well, not really fix the window switch. The switch works fine. But the S13s, and I don't know what else has them, but they've got a driver's side automatic window driver thing. So when you pull the switch all the way, it'll automatically go up and stop and go down and stop. Well, those burn out. And they're not real cheap. They're like $80 used on eBay. And that's for a used one, which is probably going to burn out too. I did some digging. I don't know what other cars they came in, but when I was at Pick Apart, I went looking through every Nissan in that year range, and nothing else had it. So today I'm going to wire around it with 2 relays so that it won't be automatic anymore, but it'll work. Because if that driver's burn up, the driver's side window won't do anything. The passenger side works fine. It doesn't have that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to wire in 2 relays to bypass that, so anyone else having this problem, this will fix it. There's something to note. At first I was going to go manual windows. I was like, it's more race car like, it'll be better, lighter. You're not really saving that much weight. Also, it's more expensive to go manual windows in these things than it is to stick with the automatics or to fix the automatic windows, which I didn't think it would be. I think I got this one over here somewhere. Oh, I'll pull the regulator out, the one I've already got apart, and I'll show you the problem. There's all the cables. They start fraying, and the window crank, it frays and gets stuck in there, and the window's broke. Now I thought, well, I can repair that, I'll replace the cables. You can do that. You can put new ends on it and get the right length cable and run it through there, but all the plastic pieces that keep it on the track, let's see. Damn, what did I do with that thing? Well, anyway, the problem with these are like the cable. It gets frayed and bound up in here. These break. There's all these plastic pieces like that. It's supposed to be in there, and there's a big piece of it missing. Here's another piece. You could get new cable, and you could crimp the ends on and get it just right and make all this work. My problem, or the thing that stopped me from doing it, is these. I can't find these used, or I can't find them new, and I didn't really find any used either, but I mean, if you did get it used, it'd just be just as brittle. So it's not really a good option. These used on eBay go for like $180, $200. I'm sure if you can find some manual doors that aren't messed up, they'll probably work for a while, but that's how I got these. I went and bought some manual doors, and 2 of them were messed up. I've got one passenger side door that this works, and it's not messed up yet that I know of. I've only rolled it up and down once. And I think I had the automatic one out. In the auto one, everything's right here. It doesn't have this thing mounted remotely. It's all right here, so there's less plastic pieces to break. And the cable's, I believe, a little shorter. It may not be, but it has less of this. So I guess it's less likely to break. So anyway, that's why I'm not going with manual doors. They're manual windows. Alright, I'm missing the buttons, but here's the driver's side window switch. It's got all this fancy stuff in here. This one blocks the passenger side from working, I think, or at least maybe the passenger side from going up and down from the passenger switch. And I believe this is the driver's side. On the passenger, I think, let's see, I've checked it so many times, but it's these bigger wires. You're changing the polarity right here directly through the switch, kind of hardwired and simple. The driver's side isn't like that. This switch and these pins go to these tiny wires. I think it's these 2 right here. These little wires, which went over to the driver thingy. I don't know what you call it, the window timer. And I threw the timer away because it was trash before I was going to make this video. So I'll put a picture of that thing right now. Now, this part's not really going to be that bad, I hope. I'll show you me testing it and what the wires do. But these ones, the small wires, I'm pretty sure are a ground trigger. I think I've already checked it. I'll check it again. Like a ground trigger for the relays or whatever was built inside that box. So all we got to do is put 2 relays here instead, and then the switch will work again without having to replace or do anything else. It just won't be automatic, but it'll work. So I gotta get the test in and write down, like, these 2 are for the window motor. That part's easy. We're gonna need the ground, and we're gonna need to figure out which one's ignition hot. And then these 2 blues, let's see, blue with white, and what is that? The other one, blue and black. Those should be the ground triggers. So we'll get to testing and see what we got. Well, this should make it kind of easy. With the key on, both these, they're both white black stripe. Both of them are hot. So we'll use 1 per relay. Let's see, the black should be the ground. I gotta try some other buttons to figure out what this white with the red does. That's the only one that I'm not sure what it does. We're just gonna move on from that white wire with the red stripe. I haven't dug too deep, but we may not even need it. Alright. Normally, you would use 30 as your input on your 5-pin relay, and 87A as your normally closed, and 87 is normally open. So for like an ignition relay, you'd hook up the trigger wire, so when you turn the key on, it flips this relay over to 87. But in this thing, with this setup, we're going to use 30 as the output. One relay is going to go to the blue wire, one side of the motor, and the other relay, 30, is going to go to green. And we're going to go with the normally closed. We're going to ground the normally closed so that both sides of the motor are always grounded when the relays aren't active. And then on 87A, we're going to put a power on each of these. And then our trigger wire is going to be one of the blue wires for 1 blue wire per relay. So when we flip one relay, it goes to hot while the other one's still grounded, so the motor spins one way. Flip the other relay, this relay's still grounded and the other one's hot, and it spins the other way, changes polarity. And that should be all we need to fix this. So I'm going to get the wiring this up and we'll see how it works. Now we've got both a pin 30, one on the blue, this other relay, pin 30, one on the green. So those are our outputs we're going to use from the relay to the motor. Now I've got to get the powers hooked up, and the power is going to go on the normally open 87. So I'll get that done next. We'll move on. A side note, since we're using a switch that is a ground activation or a ground switch, we're also going to tie 87 in with one of the activation wires. Most of these aren't polarity sensitive. Let's see if we get a better view of that. See, 85 and 86, that'll be your hot and your ground. You know, you could have hot and then use a ground for a trigger, or have it grounded and use a hot for a trigger. So we're using a ground for a trigger, so it needs to have power to it too, so that our ground will actually do something. So it'll be tied in with 87. And it will be one of these. It'll be this blue or this green. And with that yellow. I've got my outputs for the motor figured out, and I've got my powers and my hot trigger hooked up. But now I need the ground for the motor, and that's going to be this guy here. It didn't have 2 grounds, like it had 2 powers. So I'm going to have to run this ground to both of these orange wires. And then all I got to do is hook up the signals, and then I can just swap which signal or which wire is what for up and down to make it work right with the button. We'll go over that shortly. I'll get these hooked up. Everything's all hooked up. Little blue wires, my blue for my triggers, my up and down. Oh, probably need ignition on. Alright, let's try it again. down. First time that's worked in 8 years. And that one still works. So, problem solved. It's not overly complicated. It might be a little scary if you've never used relays or done much wiring before. But it's really no big deal. Ended up not using that white with the red because well, that's all I got for this video. Just one side note, kind of ruined the car. I painted the top here and I did a pretty good job. It looks pretty nice. I used this Rust-Oleum, this giant turbo can. It shoots like a 10-inch fan, so you can keep everything wet. It blends really good. But now that it's all glossy and nice, I needed a little more light to shoot this. But last time I just threw it on the roof. But now I can't. Now it's all nice, so I gotta respect it. So, side note, don't paint anything. Just keep garbage paint. Don't worry about it. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.